It'll be a good one.
It'll be a good one.
Definitely a different type of process.
Cut down or freeze up.
Jackson what? Still 5 minutes.
Hey, welcome back. You're watching Baseball 101. I guess you knew that because that was a title and you pushed the button. So it's kind of redundant to say that again, but I thought I would because that's what I do. Anyway, I don't know what I'm talking about already, but we'll get there. This week, we are with Nolan Sissom. If you don't know him, he's been in high school for about 18 years, it seems like. And Matt Sissom, who is the new head coach at Zumwalt West, which is a wonderful congratulations.
Thank you.
I'm so happy for you. I mean, sucks golf's gone, but for you, good.
Yeah, it's exciting. Eric was a great mentor for me, a great mentor for Nolan, and it's exciting. I got a freshman there this year and a senior, so it's going to be a fun first year for me.
It is going to be fun. Was it going to be fun for you? So how that? I mean, when you kind of knew, I mean, obviously you talked at home about this possibility. Mm-hmm. When you found out, I mean, you're excited, but then were you a little concerned what people would say? Like you're getting playing time because of your dad? Not so much.
Not really. I feel like we've always had a good relationship outside of baseball, and then like kind of that coach and player relationship inside baseball. And actually, I learned that from Cooper Robertson playing with him, because Coach Robertson coached when he was there. He always called him coach at the field. So I kind of picked up on that to have two different type of relationships, but still the same love for each other and for baseball. So I think it'll be good. It's
definitely an interesting dynamic because it's like there are times am I being too soft on my son? Am I being too hard on him? Then you get home and it's like, do I bring it up? It's interesting. So, I mean, you guys, you've coached him all along.
Yeah, so back to, T-ball. We just started a team and picked up some of his friends and kind of threw a team together. And that lasted till probably about 13U. I always had him playing up a year because I was always pushing him and challenging him. And 13U was the year we were like, let's bring him back down.
Yeah.
So he did 13U twice. And then that group of buddies he played with kind of moved on. But yeah, I've been coaching him ever since, and even in the summer a little bit here and there the last few years with RBC and Dave Wiggins. So
it's a lot of time, and that's what I think. When Ty graduated, and it was the last time I coached him, obviously you're freshman and senior, but I mean, all those games, all the times at Chesterfield and all those fields you were at and all the traveling, it definitely, I'm so thankful I had the time coaching. And in high school, it's a special experience. So I'm happy for you guys. You got that, and I got to see it. Have you ever slipped up and yelled dad on the field?
Yeah, I think it'd be more like it was more of a dugout thing on accident, but I think on the field I usually keep coach pretty in my mind, but definitely have slipped up before.
It happened. I don't know if Ty ever slipped. I don't know. He didn't say. I don't know. It doesn't matter. It's a long time ago. I forgot things. But so Zumwalt West this past year, Final Four. Now you come in and have to keep this thing rolling. And I mean, I'm sure you have goals to make it better than. I mean, everyone's competitive. And it's like Eric did a great job putting the program at a great spot to hand off. Is there anything, like, you're not going to overhaul everything, but is there anything you want to implement that just kind of...
the big things for me probably, Eric was, like I said, a great mentor for me, and one of his big goals was to leave the program in a better place than where he found it. And from 2010 on, he did exactly that.
Yeah.
And what I've kind of told myself, and I've kind of told the boys, and the worst thing I can try to do is to be Eric Goff. I've got to be Matt Sissom. I've got to be coach to my strengths and things like that. And the worst thing that these guys could do as a team is try to be the 2025 team. Yeah. We've got to be the 2026 team. We've got to have our own identity. I've got to kind of do things my way. Now, the program and the culture that Eric Goff put in place there's a lot of fingerprints on it. I've been there for over 20 years, so there's a lot of fingerprints on it. My biggest thing probably is I feel sorry for the guys who played for me probably my first 5 years, because I thought there was one way to do everything. I'm the coach, do it this way. Well, the biggest thing I think that I've learned over time in coaching them in youth baseball, but also high school baseball, is let the players have a say. Let them have an ownership in what we're doing. And that could be as simple as, we got second and third, one out. What do we want to do here in the middle of a game? And it could be as big as, what do you want our off-season throwing and weight program to look like? But let the players have a say in kind of what we're doing. And I wouldn't have done that 20 years ago. Now I think that they have a say in it. It just builds that camaraderie as a coaching staff and then the players, both.
To like purple uniforms.
Yeah, purple pinstripe uniforms. I think that those really grew on me. I don't know about you. You used to carry those in the park with over your shoulder, I think, didn't you?
They by the end of the year, I became very comfortable in the purple pins.
Yeah.
At the first time I put them on at was it Westminster?
Westminster, yeah.
I didn't know even what to. It's purple.
I'm glad you put him on, because Ryan Franklin was Coach Frankie was locked. He was locked in on you that day to see when those things were going on.
Yeah, I'm aware. As I walked up, it was pretty clear.
Yeah,
we're gonna have purple pins on today.
It took a minute to get Goff to wear those.
I know.
I remember pitching that idea to him like probably January, February. Like, hey, let's get some pants to match. He's like, I'm not wearing those. But it took a few weeks to finally get him to actually want to do it.
I'll wear a clown suit if you guys are going to play well. I don't
I was
care.
gonna say you
Look
go to,
good, feel good, play good is my motto. So
of all the combinations, how did you get the purple pins? There's a lot of different. I mean, you got grays, you got blacks, you got whites, you got like purple. I mean, you have combinations, and you go purple pins.
Man, I think it started. I think we were talking to Coach DeShirley. I think it was my sophomore year. It was like when we were going to order new ones, and we were like, oh, let's go purple, because we had white and black, and we were like, oh, let's throw some pinstripes on there, and then it kind of matched with the white pants, and the pants looked great. I thought they were awesome. They looked great.
Let's put it this way: if you pull up to the field, it was like when you were little, and there's that one team that had the neon like green. You pull up, you're like, there's our team.
that's right.
I mean, there's no missing. It's like, oh, Zumwalt West is here. Look, purple pins. Like, you can't miss them. Well, that and the yelling that comes from the field. Like, there's two. The energy level in the purple pins is pretty much a dead giveaway where the Zumwalt West group's at.
Yeah.
So
I also felt like we wore them the last 20 games of the season. I don't think we even got the whites out once we hit like May.
No, we didn't. I was trying to remember because I had the whites. I'm like, guys, you sure you want to go white? But that's okay. But those are, I think it is the ownership of the players, and Zumwalt West has done it. I mean, last year was so cool to see how much the players get a say in things. And then there's non-negotiables that are like, well, we're not going to do this. But it definitely creates a culture of like team. It's a we thing. It's not anything other than we're in it together, which I learned that one at Kirkwood. But I learned a lot last year. I don't know if they learned anything from me, but I mean, I learned. So that's, and keeping that going, I think that's already established. And for you to keep going, is there any other structures or obviously practices, I'm sure, are similar, and all the other, you build a new field yet?
Yeah, I wish. You have to talk to the higher ups there about that. I think one thing maybe at practice that they will see, the players will see, is just a little bit more live game situation stuff. And it's very hard with the schedule we play, 36 games. Some days are maintenance days. Some days you need a shorts day and some BP to kind of rest up, heal up. But I think there are some Mondays and some Fridays in there that we're going to try to push them a little bit at practice, especially with conference on Tuesday, Wednesday. And just some live things they'll probably see this year. But other than that, just competitive, good paced practices. I'm not a big believer in being out there for 3 hours. If we can get what we need to get done in an hour 45, 2 hours, let's do it. Because I think, we got to remember their kids too, right? They got homework. They've got a little bit of a life outside of baseball. The spring is busy as it is. We got to remember that there's some other things going on. So let's get done what we need to get done. But let's be productive. The live, I think, is something that will be big for us. So
have you tried to prepare your younger brother for this one?
Nah, I've tried. I think, he played for you for what? Probably the same timeline?
Yeah, I've coached him all the way, from T-ball up to very recently too.
So he's comfortable with you. But that dynamic of being a coach's kid and how other players, other parents, I mean, I saw it with Titus. I mean, it was his freshman year when he was up. Everyone's like, well, he's only up because of you. And I'm like, if you think Tony Perkins is going to put a player on the field just
Right.
because of me,
Right.
you're crazy.
Yeah.
And that's what I think the relationship with me was pretty easy. It was all the other voices that are out there that's, and you were, I mean, when you started your freshman year, you had success so quick that, I mean, there was no doubt. But so have you kind of warned your brother that might happen?
Yeah, we've talked about it a few times. I kind of told him more it'll happen on when you're a little younger, because I feel like I deal with a little bit of it like early on my freshman year, but it wasn't like insults or something like that, like more like people messing with you. But it was still like when I was younger, and then once you kind of implement yourself, buying into what everyone else wants to do, and then kind of proving like I belong up here, it goes away.
Yeah, once you have success, everyone's like, oh, I see it.
Yeah. Well, and you guys had that at Howell for a while. You know, you had the father-son relationships and players and coaches both in the program. We've had it with Eric's son. We had it with C-Rob, you know, and now with us. And, you know, I don't think that it becomes a thing unless you make it one, you know. And I remember his freshman year when he tried out. I remember Eric coming to me, I think it was Wednesday night of tryout week. And he just looked at me and he smiled and said, "You're not going to coach your son this year." And that was when I was still the JV coach. And it brought a smile to my face. His goal was to make varsity, and I stayed out of the way of that. I didn't know how the week really honestly was going other than the things he told me at home. And when Eric came to me on Wednesday and said, "Looks like you're not getting him down there," then, you know, that was that. So he had earned it and done enough that, you know, that week to show that he belonged. So
That's those goals, obviously you want to make varsity. And then how early on did you have a goal of like playing D1 baseball or professional? Like, I'm curious, everyone, I feel like at some point in their life while they're playing, they're like, you know what, I think I want to do this past other people. Do you remember that kind of time frame?
Well, I feel like as a younger kid, it was always like, oh, I'm watching you on TV, or we go to a Cardinals game, like that's what I want to do when I'm older. But I think once it hit like, gosh, probably 8th grade, where it's like once we play good talent and high on like our summer ball, and then you get to high school and it's like, all right, I can compete with these types of players and I can work hard like these types of guys. Then it kind of came to realization like this, I can pursue this goal and work hard to try and meet this goal that I've had since being a little kid.
Yeah. So you started this is before, you can't do this anymore, by the way, the recruiting's changed, but your recruiting process started 8th, 9th, 10th grade. I mean, it goes early on in high school. Do you remember when that started?
See, I think it was the summer of coming into high school. We were just playing summer ball, and then I got an invite to like the junior future games, but I think that still is a thing. But at that time, that was like where you're getting that early recruitment. Like there was coaches watching offers, 8th graders play, and it was kind of crazy, like being like, oh, we just played summer ball. Like I'm in middle school 2 months ago, and now there's SEC schools and all these big schools play baseball in front of so many people and just playing different states. It was really cool, but also like kind of a weird feeling like I guess I'm 14 years old. There's coaches watching, but because I think after that's when kind of Wiggins started talking to, I think it was still when Coach Beezer was there. They kind of reached out and was like, let's have Nolan come to a camp. And then once I went to that camp, probably that fall is when it was like a 2-day camp, and it was like just like that, an offer. It was really crazy how early it starts compared to now. It was kind of insane. But
so do you think it's better now that it's later? Obviously, there's a lot has changed since you went into high school till now. It's, to me, the biggest shift in recruiting portal, and like you name it, the landscape has shifted dramatically. At least the recruiting piece, moving back to junior year, do you think that's better?
I think there's both, because I think it was good being able to get recruited when you're younger, just to like start building relationships and build some loyalty. But I do think now with how it's changed, I do think it's better because there's not a lot of loyalty, especially if you look at like the football world. But I don't think the baseball world's much off of it, just with how easily you can switch where you're at, or being later, more developed. I think it's better to be able to commit to schools later once you finally show who you are. Once you're 17, 18 years old, or being a senior, it's better to show who you are and commit once you're closer to being to that school compared to having so long to get replaced like it would be now.
So what do you think of the recruiting shift?
So like when he, in between that 8th grade and freshman year, that summer when he went to those camps and we had conversations with Coach Beezer, it was more of a we project kind of thing.
Yeah.
I went back and looked at the video of his first varsity hit the other day, and it was a little butt out, flip over the shortstop's head his first at bat on varsity. And now I look at the videos of him hitting now, and he's a different player.
Oh, yeah.
He's grown into, got into the weight room and grown into a young man. But for me, back when he kind of said, I want to go to Mizzou type of deal, they projected him to be this player. And so far they've been right. Now I don't think that the colleges have to mess with that as much. There is that exact player out there. That player has played a year or two of college already. We can get him over here. Yeah. So I think it changes the whole high school to the SEC kind of look. And I don't know yet. I think it's such a fluid process. I don't know that they know yet exactly what is going to happen, So I think there's a lot in that story still to be written.
It's a tough time. I've said before, like, to me, last year's high school group and this year's high school group are the ones that it's just unknown because everything has shifted. And up until really last year's group, if you committed to a 4-year school, you sign, you go there. Last year, we all know players that right before they left for their 4-year school, it was, hey, we don't have a spot for you. Yeah. And that's scary. So have you guys talked about that at all? Or have you
Yeah. So like as a dad, that's a little scary. You're trusting, institution, a coach, a program, peers to take care of your 18-year-old kid when you send them out. So that part is scary. But we also have talked about, kind of like he did in the high school level, if you go out there and let your play do your talking, you're in the weight room like you're supposed to be, you're improving, getting better. Hopefully he can go down there and make a statement right away when he gets there in the fall. But that's our plan, but there's unknowns, there's grown men out there looking for spots.
Yes.
And he's not quite physically where they are yet, to be honest. He'll get there. But when you're putting high school kid up against a 21, 22-year-old kid, it's different.
Yeah.
So
how do you feel about it?
So I think it's a little scary, honestly, just because of how, especially the money side is turned now. Like you can, especially these big schools, you can get someone literally just by paying them enough money. And especially these guys which this isn't to blame them, but like if you get injured and you have a red shirt or you don't play and you have a red shirt, you get to 23 and 24 years old and there's an 18-year-old kid coming. It's almost unfair. If you're not, like these kids are fully grown, fully lifted for probably almost 10 years of their life. Like,
absolutely.
It is almost unfair the way it can work now, where it's kind of crazy. You have to work so much harder just to have a chance to be able to perform on the same field as these guys that honestly, some of them have played at other SEC schools and like all these things that go into it, and you don't even have a chance to do what they're doing yet, and you're in the same spot.
No, I mean, the physical side is the biggest piece. I mean, you look at like where you were from a freshman to now. You look at, I mean, just that gap and see how much you've matured. And then you look at freshman year of college to senior year, like physically, that's a big gap. But then to me, the other piece that in college is so important, the mental part, like just the confidence. Hey, I've already played 3 years of college baseball. I've played in the SEC. I play, like, you're walking into this unknown. Like, this is a completely new situation. And it takes a special, I think, moving forward, it's going to take a very special kid to be able to jump in the SEC, which I think you can. I mean, I'm a little biased, but that's okay. But, I mean, it's just, I've thought about many times, I'm thankful that Titus is not going through this, because I feel like every year, if it doesn't go well, then you're back in the portal, or the whole team is turning over. It's like like you're saying, like Beezer, I thought did a great job of projecting.
Yeah.
You don't really need that skill anymore.
Right.
Project. It's like, hey, this guy was at Carbondale and hit 300. Oh, I guess he could hit.
Yeah, it's already projected. And I think it's, like I said, it's changing. Like, even since, the time he's been in high school, it's in that short period of time. And I think even by the time he gets down there on campus, it's going to look a little bit different. I don't really know in what ways exactly, but I think it's ever changing. And I think the coaches are figuring it out, the players, the high school kids. When they make their decisions, they've got to put that in there too. But I know he wants to play at a high level, and he's done nothing but show that so far in high school. And if he works hard, I don't see any reason we can't do that in the SEC as well.
He's going to get an opportunity. It's just, what's it look like? Sure. And I think that's, for me, for a lot of these guys that I've seen commit early on, they followed the program for 4 years. They're fully invested in the program for 4 years. And then 2 weeks before, it's like, hey, we changed our mind.
Yeah.
That's where the commitment early, to me, I really thought it was nice to take that pressure off. Like, it was like, hey, I know I'm going to play. I don't have to worry about it. I can just go play. But now, geez.
Yeah, it's changing. Well, and one of the things I told him when he committed early, I said, now you got to do your part. Mizzou is interested in you. They want you to come up and play there. Now you have to do your part. And that's higher IQ, get in the weight room, whatever it is to make yourself a better person and a better player, it's on you. And he's done that. Now, it's still, a year away from now. We'll see how it looks then. But like I said, it's changing so quick and so fast, even in the short time period we've had to deal with it. So
look at Tennessee.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like,
yeah.
One, they recruit obnoxiously well and over recruit.
Sure.
Bring all these players in that are big time recruits, and then the coach leaves halfway through the fall.
Yeah. Their players look pumped about that guy coming in, though. So it looked like as far as the program and the culture, it looked like they made the right call there. So we'll see.
And that's what, you got coaches coming in, you got coaches leaving, you got players. It reminds me almost like club ball on steroids, where it's like, hey, this team's better than that. Let's take these two kids and go there. And it's just a nonstop.
Yeah. And you asked about when we started playing with him, and I remember those days, and I remember how hard it was to sit back and be a little over 500, but make sure we were teaching them the right things, make sure we were playing the right competition while you'd have a great weekend, and on the last game on Sunday, you'd run into the team that could hit the ball further, throw the ball harder. They weren't better baseball players, but they were bigger and stronger than you at that point. And we stuck with our plan, and I think it worked for most of these kids, of teaching the fundamentals, teaching the IQ, teaching the things that they were going to do down the road. I can't tell you how many times at a practice when they were little, I would say, you'll understand this in a couple years, or you'll see why when we get to the big field. I would say phrases like that, and they probably heard 50% of it. But I think as they got older, they realized, oh man, coach did know what he was talking about. He did know this was going to be a thing in the big field. He did know this was going to be a thing down the road. We're running bases. When he was little, we saved the last 15, 20 minutes of every practice to run bases. And we worked on little things for it. Did it come into play much in the games on the weekend? Not a whole lot when they were little. But as we got older, it did. So we really paid attention to the details, the fundamentals, to try to grow them completely, not just throw hard and hit ball far. So,
what's that one? Development?
Yeah. It's a good word, right?
Development.
Yeah. So
maybe look into it. Find a coach that's into development, not puberty.
Yeah.
Some coaches just, hey, you fit puberty. Congratulations. You now have a place on this team.
Yeah. So it was hard for us, to sit back and say, well, that player, he could come play with us and make us a lot better. Or, we might lose our top player to another team like that because they want to go win every weekend. And we were okay with, we'd win a tournament a month, and we'd go deep on Sunday and some other ones when they were younger. And that was okay. And I think the older they got, they realized that we had the big picture in mind. So
they're having fun.
And
they want to keep
absolutely
playing
and develop. Always one of our goals. Yeah. So.
Hey, if you haven't watched, there's a couple podcasts, the last couple of weeks talking about fun and development.
Yeah.
It's a good time. You should look into it.
Yeah.
Try something new.
That's a big thing Coach Goff talks about at West. What's your why? Why are you playing? And I honestly think if that question stumps you, you could fall back to, I like baseball. Yeah. It's fun. Maybe you don't have a deeper answer right away for it, but what did we all start playing and coaching for? It's fun. Yeah.
And if it's not fun, stop playing.
Can go play some
golf
or pickleball or something, right?
There's a lot of things to invest your time in. That's
agree.
what the amount of kids that, and it's softball, it's volleyball, it's any sport where the kids are like, oh, I got to go to practice. I hate this. Well, then stop doing it.
For sure.
Because you're not going to maximize what you've been given. Going to the field and enjoying it, it's a game. Play checkers. I don't care. Just have fun.
Yeah.
And that's
for sure.
So growing up, was there that struggle of like watching other guys and that other teams are like, oh, that team always wins? And it's like, am I going to be able to do that, or you just trusted your dad?
No, I think younger it was a little harder to buy in because you're like 12 years old. But I think once we started getting older and even seeing other high school teams, like we'll bunt, and then these kids won't know what to do. And it's like, well, hey, we talked about that when we're 12 and 13 years old, just learning parts of the game that some kids just did not ever get a chance to learn. It's not their fault because they hit puberty faster, they could throw harder when they're younger.
No.
But the fact that coaches wouldn't take the time to teach the game or to teach things that revolve in the high school world and the college world, like they're left a little bit behind. And I'm glad and thankful that he took his time, and the coaches we had, and especially the high school coaches now, to take time to think about the other side of the game that matters if you want to go play at the next level compared to just hitting the ball hard and throwing hard. It just doesn't matter once you get to a certain level, because everyone can do it.
And the details of baseball to me is what I love about the game. Like all those little things that people don't see but are talked about in the dugout that are executed, where it's just like, I mean, the World Series game where the guy didn't quite get as big a secondary off third base that I would encourage. I know you don't want to get doubled off at third, but dude, you're an athlete.
Yeah.
If you can't get back and you can't read that, but those details, if he gets just a normal size lead, he's safe at home plate. The whole thing's that's the beauty of the game.
Absolutely.
That was one of the things I said to you. Maybe should have ran through it.
Yeah.
No reason to slide. You're not getting tagged. Could have ran through like it's
Talked
first.
about sliding late. We always talk about sliding late on home plate. Maybe he should have slid later, or maybe he should have ran through. And who knows? Maybe that changes that play too, along with maybe being a little further off there, because 98% of the balls in play are not going to be line drives to third base.
No.
That's the one thing you're worried about there, is that line drive to third base. But
If you get beat on a line drive to third base doubled up, it's like the guy hit the ball well.
sure.
You had as good a read as you can get.
Yeah.
It happens.
Risk reward. The ground ball, you got to be able to get there.
Yeah.
You know, especially the way that ground ball went.
And I think Dalton Varsho got doubled up in the game before.
Yeah.
They're ready to win a game, and he gets doubled up. It's a bad base running.
Yeah.
And it's like those two little details, you'd be world champs right now.
And we
It's
watched
crazy
that,
to think about.
We watched that clip over and over. He turns, he puts his back to the infield, and he get a little too far off, and then he freezes, and then he's out.
Yep.
You know, so
That's what to me makes the game great.
yeah,
Because
I agree.
if you can coach at a young level and put those fundamentals in, my middle school coach, Jerry Bamer, taught me secondaries from third, from second, that I used from there until I was playing professionally.
Sure.
That footwork did not change.
Yeah.
Like I did the same thing all the way through. It was effective. I did it well, but it was instilled early on. It wasn't about winning. It was, we're going to practice the secondary off third base. I'm like, this is fun.
Yeah.
But it is what it is.
But then when it works and when you use it in a game, or you win a game or lose a game, you know, those little details, and we talk about it too, like all the reasons you love this game, sometimes you hate it too. If the other team executes something and you don't, or, you know, a little thing like that, those secondary leads. And sometimes those are hard to do at practice with maybe a little bit of make-believe or the timing of it if you don't have another team out there. But I think those reps are, I mean, that's the difference between, you know, a top program and just, you know, we're an okay program.
Yeah.
Well, those are the little things that shift you from that mid program to that top program, in my eyes. So,
Like with club baseball, I think that's been a frustration of, I've seen a lack of development. It used to be high school was a time that we had them every day, and we really instilled the development piece, but then it has switched to clubs have them 9 months a year, and they're supposed to do it. And I think there are clubs doing a great job with it. But there's so many clubs that we see guys come out to tryouts and we're like, how do you not know how to, like, that's a double cut. What's a double cut? And I'm like, oh, I want to hit you with a bat. But then I'm like, it's not you. It's your club that you just paid $10,000 to learn nothing.
Can't do double cuts in a batting cage.
No.
You know, or sometimes they don't even have facilities and fields to go do that. And that's why I'm thankful he had Dave in the summer for the last few summers, because Dave, it's a perfect balance of Dave would get them the views they need. He'd get them in front of the college coaches that they needed. He also would coach them up and teach them, you know, the fundamentals. And then he would also be tough on them when they needed it.
Yeah.
So I felt like he was a perfect blend, at least for Nolan. He was the perfect coach to do all of those things, get him in front of Mizzou, you know, and then keep playing the game at a high level. I mean, he would take him to the highest level tournaments he could find. We might go on a trip and go 3-3. Who cares?
Yeah.
I couldn't even tell you where the trip was or anything now, and it was just a couple years ago. But I do know from that trip, he became a better ball player. The kids around him became better because of you're putting them up against good competition. You're taking them to these places south where they need to play to get better. You know, we weren't staying in town and playing tournaments. He was taking them to places that pushed them. So,
Well, yeah, I thought Dave was important for that and back to like the practice type stuff was we'd go up to Webster on a Saturday morning, and there's probably no other summer teams practicing. But we'd go on the field, and the first thing we work on is double cuts and PFPs. And if we were, which sometimes it's like, it's summer practice, who cares? Like, but then Dave would pull us in, and he's like, fellas, when we go play in front of coaches and you don't execute a PFP, but you're throwing 92, that might be the breakers. This guy does PFP and he throws 94. Or when you can't go execute a double cut or be in the right place on a bunt or know where to cover or be able to field a bunt as a pitcher or like turn a double plays pitcher, like those are little things that you guys are already talented enough. If you do these things, that might be the icebreaker to get to the next level.
That's what you have to find separators.
Sure.
Because talent, as you get older, the talent gap shrinks. I mean, puberty kind of gets people on the same plane.
Yeah.
But then you have to find things, the details, the mental game, all those, the work ethic, the things that are going to set you apart. Because if you're just depending on talent, it's not going to be enough. At some point, everyone's got talent.
Yeah.
You get to Mizzou, it's not like, hey, I'm all state. Well, guess what?
Right.
Everyone's all state.
Right.
That's not impressive. And don't talk about high school and college.
Well, and I think you see that in the GAC too. GAC South especially. You've got arm after arm, Tuesday, Wednesday arm, relief arm coming in. You've got the top 5, 6, 7 bats in those lineup are, every lineup is dangerous. All the arms coming out are dangerous. So you see that, I think, in the GAC South, but the little separators are the PFPs, the cuts, the, execution of offensive plays, those little things, instead of splitting on a Tuesday and Wednesday in conference, all of a sudden you've swept a team now because you did something little right on Tuesday or Wednesday, so.
Just keeping that intensity level up, I think is a big, when we play Tuesday, Wednesday, you win the first one, it's tough sometimes to be motivated and be like, we need both and we need to execute, but that's part of program expectations and standards.
Yeah.
You can definitely tell some programs, they're going to come fight with you every single time out. Other programs, by the second half of the season, you're like, I hope they're on the schedule because you get ahead, they quit.
Yeah. Well, we get guys new to varsity, and they always hear me say the comment, I wish we could play Hall 7, 9 times a year. Well, why?
Well,
Because that's what we're here for. We're here to compete. We're
The
here to have a
intensity
1 or
is
2
there.
run ball game. We're here to have, a run scored in the 6th or 7th to win the game. And those are the games that are fun, and they make you better because you're competing with a team just like you, but a little detail might go your way or their way, and all of a sudden there's a win or a loss.
It seems like most years Holland West plays 5 or 6 times.
Yeah, at least lately.
2 in conference, the Midwest Classic, Troy and Columbia.
Bring it on. I love it.
Like 5, I mean,
love it.
and those, every one of those, there's not one time you play that game and there's not intensity.
Yeah,
And that's
for sure.
There's a lot those are fun. But
Yeah.
that's high school sports. Like, I'm assuming that's your favorite team to play.
Yeah,
No
100%.
doubt. There's nothing better than Hall. We call it Hall Week.
Oh.
So once Hall Week gets there on that Sunday, we know it's Hall Week. So we don't even know if there's another game going on that week. There probably is, but we're so focused on those 2 games that week. And I'm
They're
sure
fun.
they're the same way over there.
That's the high school. It is.
Yeah.
I've been on both sides. Trust me.
Right.
People are very aware of.
Yeah.
And it's just, and I think that's the fun of the GAC South because it's just not both schools that are invested. The amount of people that show up for those games, it's just a lot of fun, and that's high school baseball the way it should be.
Yeah.
There's intensity,
For sure.
there's mutual respect, and there's just it is what it is. But I am curious. Going back to Dave Wiggins, sorry,
Sure.
but so when you got to that point where you were ready to move on to like club stuff and kind of let someone else coach, did you meet with different clubs? Did you go watch
Yeah.
different teams? How did you end up that process? What did that look like?
So that was, I'd said earlier, he did 13U baseball twice. So that when we were coming to the end of that second year of 13U, it was very clear he was on a roster that he needed more.
Challenge, yeah.
And we had played against Dave. And I think was Brady Tanner already on there with Dave? Yeah, so Brady was already on there. Him and Brady go way back. But yeah, we talked to different teams. I went and watched a couple different practices. He went and practiced with the recruits a couple times that summer, towards the end of that summer when that transition was happening. And, between a couple phone conversations, watching a couple practices, seeing Dave interact with him, it was the right fit. And like I said earlier, it was just the things he did, the way he taught things, brought the intensity, still wanted to win, get them seen, compete, just all the little things that I was looking for.
Yeah.
And he was old enough then too. He kind of weighed in on that decision with me as well.
So is that the only team I just, because like when Ty got to that point, and I think if you're watching, like, well, how do you know if they're to the point? You can tell when the talent gap, like when Ty would throw to first base, and the first baseman was ducking.
Yeah, I don't think we were in that boat
But
yet.
I mean,
it
that was like,
definitely,
so that was like
you could
fifth,
see
sixth
it.
grade.
Sure.
Like that was at
sure.
first, like we had the elementary school team of just his friends, and then it was like he would throw it across, and then he started lobbing it, and I'm like, okay, it's time to move on.
Yeah.
And he went and practiced with some teams and filled in. And that's what I would encourage. If you're looking for clubs, like go to the practices, like see the interact. Like the reason Ty didn't go to one club because we were at a game and I saw the assistant coach down the line yelling at his son. I'm like, nope,
Cross him off. Yeah. Cross him off.
But before you sign up, I mean, it's a big investment.
Sure.
It's just not financial. The amount of time.
Yeah.
And to me, the thing that I want to protect more than anything else is the love of the game.
For sure.
You get a bad coach or bad club that is not a good fit.
Yeah.
It can burn you out and be like, I don't want to do this anymore. And then you've invested all this time and killed a dream because you didn't go through that process. But I'm assuming you enjoyed all your time with Dave.
Yeah, it was good.
You can
especially
tell me you're not watching.
especially
He'll
from
be
like
watching.
the first. I mean, we practiced with him like that fall, kind of deciding, just like
It's like the end of the summer, kind of like those August, that little gap between summer and fall ball.
But like initially talking to him, just the way he viewed the game reminded me of like how he views the game. And I mean, I was even being coached by Coach Goff. I feel like at that point, just like being around him with their games and camps, like it was a lot of what I'm familiar with. And he had a good mixture of like being a hard-nosed coach and like when you need like structure and you need someone to get on you a little bit, like he's the guy to do it. And he has that friendly, like you're going to travel with him, you're on vacation playing these tournaments, like you need someone that can be friendly and go out to dinner with you and like be one of your best friends too. So he had such a great mixture with it, and then just the way he viewed the game was just perfect fit.
The amount of time you're with your club teammates and everything, I mean, it's the coaches, it's all of it. Do you have a favorite place that you traveled to, or favorite tournament that stands out?
It's probably Indiana, because we've been up there 4 years in a row now.
Is it Grand Park?
And that place is cool just because it's not like, it wasn't like Georgia where it's like craziness the whole time. It's like one place you play at, maybe go to another place, and then like going to do stuff, because you get to the point you play one game a day.
Yeah.
You can like actually go do things that it's not the city, and we'd like stay in Airbnb. So it was like we could hang out with people and hang out with the team at like a low key type of environment, not be like in Georgia or Alabama and some of those places where it's just chaos.
Lake Point's chaos.
Yeah.
And then you're driving for an hour to each field. And
they ship you all around the state. But, Dave did a good job of, like I said earlier, getting them in front of the coaches they needed to. There were nights and games where you'd walk up and you could it was electric. Just the amount of coaches and the amount of other coaches and teams that stuck around to watch them play. He did a good job of that. And then again, if you're in that environment, you're playing a good team. You're going to get better. Whether the result goes your way or not, you're not only in front of good options for college, you are making yourself better.
Well, and I think playing in those environments, whether it's Howell and Zumwalt West, whether it's at wherever, when you're playing top talent, there's people there and you have to perform. That practice of being like, I can do this. I'm not going to be overwhelmed by the moment, because SEC Friday nights at Vandy is going to be.
It's going to look a little different than other places.
It's going to be, but it'll be fun. But when you've kind of been in those environments, or at least as you go through the top environments, then it's like by the time you get to that, it's like, I can do this. So I know you went to the MWSA end of July last summer, talking about being in front of a lot of people. There's a ton of scouts there. I mean, the college coaches, scouts. What was that experience like?
It was cool. It kind of felt like playing, like we played a game down in Georgia at WWBA, and it was like, there's a lot of people here, and it kind of felt like that, but it was almost more laid back, because like some of those summer games, it feels a little like intense because there's so much on the line. But there, it was a good mixture of like there's MLB scouts here, but then everyone on the field is so comfortable being in these environments. Like you get along with guys really easy. But then also it was cool looking up in like the stands, and we were doing like our showcase day, or we even went and played at Kaufman. Like there's dudes with MLB hats, not college hats. And there's guys in the dugouts in uniforms coaching these games for it. It was a crazy environment, but it was cool because everyone in there has the same goal and everyone gets along and everyone's like fighting to impress people, to where it's a really fun environment.
It is interesting. What do you think of it?
Yeah, I was super nervous. We did this showcase on the night before the scrimmage at Kaufman, and he was walking up, and I don't get nervous much around baseball. It's pretty much my comfort zone, and I think us together, it's our comfort zone. But man, when he started walking away from me that night for that showcase, I got a little nervous.
I know the feeling.
But I think pretty quickly when I walked up, and like Nolan said, he is with a group of guys that are not only talented, but they're comfortable. They're comfortable because that's their setting too. And you're around dudes, like dudes are around dudes, and that helps. You don't have insecure parents. You don't have insecure players out there. The parents are all pretty laid back at this thing. So I got a little comfortable after a little bit. But then like the next day at Kaufman, I go sit down in a section and I look over one section to my left, probably 15 minutes into this thing, and there's Tony V. Yeah. He's plopping down in a section next to us. And everywhere you turned your head, there was, like he said, there was eyes on you, which is awesome. Yeah. It's very rewarding and it's very worth it to go to that thing. So,
and that event, I know I really enjoyed just being in Kaufman and seeing actually Titus face like Richie Swain that day. Like, it's just interesting to see how much talent's on the field. Yeah. And would be fun this draft coming up to see how many people will be taken. You're like, what the? I mean, I was just on the field with that guy. Yeah. That's the crazy part where you're at the tipping point of like, okay, you're around that group. A lot of those guys are going to go play professionally. Some will go to college, but so have you considered the professional stuff yet?
Yeah, I think it'd be cool just because I remember going to that showcase and the final thing one of those coaches said was, the way college works now, this is a much better investment of your time. And that kind of stuck when we talked about even like 5 minutes later getting in the car. And one of the things they mentioned was, we're paying you way more money than a college probably will. And when you get here, you're not going to transfer from the Tigers to the Orioles, or you're not going to transfer from a Division I to a JUCO or go somewhere else. Like, we're putting so much more money and time into what you're going to do. Like, we want to see you develop because you're 19 and 18. And yes, we have guys that are 25 and even 30 years old, but there's much more time and money, and like, we want to see you develop into like a AAA, a major league guy, where college is like, we need to win. That's why we're gonna get you in here and we're gonna pay you a little bit more. But I think it'd be a much cooler investment, and to be able to try and chase your dream a little earlier in life would be pretty cool.
I hope you get the opportunity, whether it's now or in 3 years or whenever it is, because it's definitely, I mean, of all the hitters I've seen, there's only, was it 25? It's been a long time. I've coached for a long time. I would say there's only 3 to 5 hitters I've seen come through the GAC or even St. Louis that I've even seen that from freshman year, senior year has done what you've done. Like, I can't even, Greg Rogers back in like 2000, you weren't born, but he played varsity for 4 years. And I mean, he was switch hitter. He can, like, there's very few guys that I've seen. Like, when I think of Nathan Orff, you've met him. He didn't play until his junior year. So it's just interesting. Everyone develops differently, but I mean, to come in from freshman to senior year and dominate the way you have that ability. Now it's just trying to find on the professional level, whatever position or project, who knows? Yeah. Like, that's a whole, actually, in case you mark on the calendar, Nate Burtwell from the Arizona Diamondbacks will be here soon. I don't know when. I don't even know what day it is, but he's, I mean, that's one of the things we're going to talk about, because projectability for college, it's, hey, you can come in and play second base, shortstop, wherever, catch. Professionally, it's like we see you as this, and then it's a different mindset. Yeah. Like, the scouts are still on what Beezer was doing, projecting, and colleges are on the current situation.
Sure.
So,
like, free agency now for colleges, basically.
I
mean, so, and, like you said earlier, he's had goals and dreams, and we're just going to keep working towards them. I mean, that's, he's done a good job of that so far. Hopefully his coach doesn't get in his way this coming spring.
I've heard mixed reviews.
We'll see.
I think you'll be okay.
I'll try to, like I said earlier, I'll try to stay out of their way.
Yeah.
We've got 3 all-state guys coming back. I'm not not going to overcoach them. I'm going to let them do their thing, and this is their team. So,
No, and that the Super 60, hopefully you get a chance to go to that. That's another one that was, I don't know when all that goes on, but I mean, that event is, you would really enjoy that one. That was good times. But I mean, you could have scouts out this spring. It's senior year was a different experience.
Yeah. I remember looking over and Ty be hitting in the cage for a game at Troy, and there's guys filming. I was like, oh, that's crazy. That's legit.
So I don't know if I've ever even told the story. I don't know if so one of the first games at Howell, that his senior year, we're trying to get there early to hit in the cage so he can get loose without people there. So we literally get down there early. There's already people there with their cameras at the cage. I'm like, well, this is okay. I didn't realize how many people would be there. So we hit in the cage. We're going down to hill in the field. I'm throwing BP. How many times have you thrown BP to him in your life?
can't count.
Couldn't
tell you.
You have done it so many times. It's just like, you know where the ball goes, you know where he likes it, whatever.
Yeah.
So I'm throwing BP before the game on the field. It was so
spiking
bad. The Major League Scout, the MLB is there with the camera that they show that clip on the draft day. So they have cameras on both sides. On the backstop is scouts all from dugout to dugout, shoulder to shoulder. He comes up and I'm like, okay, middle, down and in. He spike it up and away. I couldn't throw him a strike. I had the yips so bad. It was
the bright lights.
Oh my gosh. I have in my head, I'm like, I could never do the home run derby with my son because this is. But the next guy comes in. It was Rouser, who I'm like right down the middle.
Yeah,
I'm good. I'm good. He comes back up. Tunk. I'm like, that was the last time I threw to him. I'm like, Perk, you have to throw to him before games. He'll never get drafted. I'm like, this is. It was horrible. So hopefully, I hope you have that experience because that means there's a lot of people out there.
Yeah.
But man, I felt so good about my BP until that I just threw in the cage to him. I was money. Got on the field and
though as a like we talked about earlier, it's a balance when you're dad and your coach. And I remember coming to your guys' place Ty's senior year, and he took IO in center field, and he came in and took it at short. I looked down the side of our dugout, and there's people lined up on the fence all the way down. Like it was just a different. Like it's awesome, but at the same time, it's a totally different environment for a high school game. You see that more in the summer and in the club, But
it's just it's a tough. I feel like his senior year, in a lot of ways, he not lost the joy of high school because it was such a wonderful to be pursued.
Yeah,
but man, it was just a tough balance of like I can't just not to be dumb jack around for 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Because if I strike out, if I'm playing catch, if I'm whatever, there's a camera on me. It's like, it's just weird. But I hope you have it because that means there's a lot of people watching. You deserve it. You've put in the time, and you're going to have a great senior year. Thank you. I'll be around. Hope see some bunting or something. I don't know. Put on some purple pins for a day.
There we go.
I don't know what's going on.
Purple pins and bunts. I love it.
Every time I retire, I come back.
combo.
It's just weird. Whatever. Anyway. Well, I appreciate you guys coming on. Congratulations. And
Thank you.
Congratulations for everything. Drew, congratulations to you. If you're watching, congrats. You've had a great day. If you haven't, well, it just got better because you watched us. So, and since you did watch it, just for fun, you know what? Push the buttons. Everyone likes pushing buttons. Subscribe, like it. I just hit the mic with my chin. That's weird. But like those, just don't push the dislike. I mean, it's 47 minutes of your day. It was wonderful. Just push the thing. I don't even know what it does, but apparently it's good. So every time I say it, no one does it, but I keep saying this, like telling my kids to pick up. They never do. He ties us. Ever since he's been home, I've worked harder. Anyway, I appreciate you watching. I hope you learned something. We have Nate Burkwell from the Arizona Diamondbacks coming on, talking about the professional side, the scouting, what they look for, all the stuff. He was at the MWSA, Super 60. Ton of information that he'll have, what they look for, all kinds of wonderful things. I'm looking forward to it, even if you're not. So anyway, have a great day. Thanks for watching.